Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Joe.
Morning, Evil. How's everybody doing?
And settled in here.
Good morning.
Good morning, Hamza. Here you go. So, economic calendar, I think, is the only thing I'm going to look at this morning. I have not reloaded. The non-farm payroll numbers came in this morning. Forecast 85,000, 172 had an impact on the markets. Seemed to have been short-lived. So at 8:30, this is MNQ. At 8:30, we had a spike, and then at yesterday's low, it seems to be rejecting. Don't bother with the fibs yet. I just put those on. I just noticed that there was a move in gold as well. Quite the drop, actually. Not sure if it had anything to do with the numbers that were released, but for the time being, we're selling. We are below higher time frame support. So for me personally, I'd be looking for a retrace. We started selling. The impulse started around 8:15 this morning. Started selling. I have not retraced much. There's a bit of a pullback right here. So I'm putting on these fibs over here, and I've got an alert for later on today. If price does come back into this area, this was, let's take one of these lines here. This was higher time frame support over here, and we just blew past it. Therefore, we can assume that it's likely, probably more than 50% likely, that it's going to turn into resistance. So that's what I'm looking at over here. I'm not really thinking of doing anything today unless there's a really good, important impulse move after the first half hour. Yeah, other than that, we can look at other tools as well. NCL or oil dipped down, found buyers at 91.50, retested for a possible double bottom, but it is rejecting at what they're calling, sorry, this is yesterday's high. Yeah, so seems to be rejecting this right now. So we might be continuing our way down. I know that we are the weekly low on was it MES or gold? MES. I guess the pre-market low, yesterday low, today low, maybe not. Hang on a second. I thought one of the things I was looking at was at the weekly low, and it's I'll have to find it again. It's not this. It was Wildcat site. No, weekly low is probably down here on gold. Yeah, so I didn't even look at the 5 things to know before the open. I'm honestly not planning on doing much this morning, so just thought I'd jump in and see if you guys are doing anything. Tesla seems to be at an area, or it tested right at 4 a.m. tested an area of buying, previous buying over here on this day as well as on Tuesday. So on Wednesday we touched down here and just took off. So this level right here was where obviously some buyers were sitting. We can tell that we dipped down here and then chopped around and accumulated a bit over here and then took off. So this level right here seems to be an important area of support. And again, this morning here.
Look at that sell-off on Tesla. Look at that candle.
Yeah, so that's printing what could, or actually at this 5-minute point, it has printed at it as a kangaroo tail. And I will share with you, this is absolutely a pattern that I like to trade. However, I will not trade this for a few reasons. It's in the first 5 minutes. don't like trading in the first half hour. There are more non-volatile opportunities after the open. The other reason, that's the stop, right? That's a conservative stop. The aggressive stop would be above the wick. The price was just above here, so it could absolutely come back here. Right? So that's your stop. And then I just finished saying that this is a highly probable area of support. So no trade.
Yeah, no good risk to reward on that one because your risk is so much. Yeah, I would agree with you on that one.
Maybe later, right? Maybe later we chop around in here and try to come back up, and it shows that it's resistance again. But then, right over here, let's say it chops around and it rejects again. Your entry might be over here, and your target would be down here. Then it's possible. Just like that. There you go. So no bueno.
Yes. Wait for a better setup for better reward to risk, really.
Yeah.
That's their job as traders, is to identify the reward to risk. I think that's the prime objective, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It is one of the, well, it is one of the, because we can't pinpoint what the most important part is. Sorry, somebody was about to say something, I think. Was it Hamza?
Yeah, I'm just looking at the MNQ. It's quite rare for it to have such a large move to the downside. I've just been looking back, and I think since 2025, only once has it had done more than 1% down over 2 days, when the VIX was below 20.
Wow, that's a very interesting stat.
So you can, I don't know, I'm thinking there's more positive expectancy if you can find a setup to go, if this gets stretched to the downside and you can find a setup to go long, even if it is for like just a mean reversion sort of thing, might be something of interest.
Yeah. I labeled, thank you for sharing, Hamza. I labeled this morning, I was looking, I didn't spend a lot of time at the computer this morning, but I was looking at the 8:30 drop. So this is showing, it's showing that the bears are selling, or that we are selling. Then it came back up. Here, let's put this up here and this down here. All right, so this is what I was looking at here, and came into the 50 and then sold off from there. So I would start my fib where it pulled into. Right, this is where the most recent impulse happened. I'm putting this down here because there is no bottom yet, right? Or I mean, I could put it to where the candle is right now. Right? So eventually, and we're going down, right? But what I was saying is that I labeled this higher time frame support. And the way that I drew this is I'm looking at the last touch here, right? At this point, right? We came up, came back down, and then we see that we popped up and then came down and started buying from this area. So I labeled this higher time frame support. I labeled this as higher time frame possible resistance because this was support over here, and then we chopped around in here and at this level. And don't forget, it's not just a line. Look at it as a rectangle. This could be higher time frame resistance. So as far as a short is concerned, I would take a short if I had a good entry at the 50. Let's say it's right here. Actually, this is moving down still. So if we retrace slowly, I don't like a massive green candle into the 50, but if we take our time, we chop around here and then come back into the 50, then I would take a short, even though higher time frame support is here, because the risk to reward, let's say it was right there, risk to reward right there to the bottom here is already at 5, right? If that were the entry right there. Mind you, if we come down and it doesn't give me 3R, then I wouldn't take it. So I would take a short here, but I would also look at the higher time frame support as per what Hamza was saying, and possibly buy at this area, right? The buyers, the bulls are still there. Higher time frame, we're going up, right? We've pulled back over the last 1-2 days. Right? We had all-time highs again on Wednesday. Right? Pulled back. This 50% retracement here was perfect, right? And then came back down, right? And now this is just from post-market yesterday, and came down, made a low, couple lows, chopped around, and now we're making new lows. So are we going to higher time frame support now? I don't know. CBD is very bearish, minus 168 imbalance. But look at it yesterday, down,
Could
and
be
then
one of those rare panic days.
a rare what day?
Panic day.
I don't know what that word is.
Panic.
Panic. Sorry.
Yeah.
Panic. Sorry, my French ears sometimes have difficulty with the English language. And even if it was a panic day, there's no entry for me right now. But coming back into the zone here, I would absolutely take a short here for the continuation over the last 2 days. Where are the cams for today? Take this out. See, approaching S6, and S6 is at higher time frame support. So if anybody's planning on going short over here, be careful, right? Because S6 could definitely be a buying area, especially at the fact that it's very close to what, 20 points, 25 points away from S6 and higher time frame support. And what was this line? This is if I were to go short, I put this as a higher time frame support. But if it proved itself under here, this would be the next level, right around this level. So if I were short, I'd be looking at grabbing profit at higher time frame support. If it proved itself lower than this, then I'd be looking at taking profit over here. And then the next one might be around here, then around here, right? And they really look like measured moves as well. Don't like having too many lines on my chart, so I'm going to remove it. I'm actually going to remove this one and then maybe put it back later. MES is selling as well. The last impulse was right up here, right? We started selling right there. Don't know where to stop it because we're still moving down. For now, I would put an alert over here. I won't put it because, you know, I'll have to move it anyway. I had an alert here from a few days ago because I wanted to know what price would do at the bottom. Right, so this is the bottom of yesterday, happened in pre-market. I'll leave the alert there because that's where we could assume buyers are going to step in. Possibly. Gold is, I don't know what gold got spooked on, but that's quite the move down. Just moving my fibs, moving my alert to bring it down below the 50. Actually, I'd be very curious to know what it does in this area, right? This was resistance after the drop. Look at all these wicks. Keep forgetting to make it a little bit bigger for you guys. There you go. All right, wick, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 with this one. So there's a seller there. Right, we're pushing price down here. So if we were to retrace into this area, I'd be curious to see what happens. Right, doesn't absolutely have to go to the 50 for me to get into a position, but I'd prefer if it actually went to the 50, especially now that the 50 correlates with this kangaroo tail at the bottom here. Right? Too many levels here. Let's get rid of these. Let's put the cams on. Probably close to S6. There we go. That's what I expected. There's an alert on Tesla. Not quite sure why I had that on there. And MES, we're just spiking down. We're selling. And if anybody got into a short at the open, good on you. Tesla, I had the alert there because this is an area of higher time frame support, possible support. And if there's a signal that buyers are stepping in here, it could be a buy. There's definitely some resistance with pre-market low, yesterday low. Right, look at that. I mean, we still have 3.5 minutes to close, but volume is subdued for the buying that's coming in here. So those of you that look at volume, there is a lot of volume in the opening candle, right? Higher than most days. There was a lot of volume on this day. What was that, Tuesday? But the buying that we're seeing right now, right? Those of you who are asking me about my kangaroo tail at the bottom strategy, this is it. But I need to see, and I don't have to have volume indicated. I need to see the price action that buyers are actually stepping in. Not seeing it right now. Questions, comments, please don't hesitate. Okay, so price has gone below higher time frame support. And when I call it support, there should be a question mark there, right? We don't know. Nobody knows. It could possibly be higher time frame support. An area of interest. Those job numbers were positive, weren't they? Yeah. Gold seems to be slowing its decline. If you were to use the last impulse sell candle, that was the last impulse sell, right? The most recent massive sell was that one. Came back into the 50. Sorry, it came back. That's where it would have been. Came back into the 50. Right? If you're using this one, look at how it chopped around the 50. So now that it's done that, theoretically, we could move our fib down here. And this would be a possible area of resistance again for the continuation down. If I have it, I'm going to leave it on a higher time frame for now. Oil just chopping around this area. A bit of a triple bottom here. Bottom, bottom, bottom. It would have to make its way above 91.78. Right, for there to be an actual change of character, if anybody uses those terms. Right, because it's going down right now. If it made it above 91.78, broke out above that area, and then retested above, then we could have a change of direction. But oil is going down at the same time as MES and MNQ are going down, which is opposite to what we've seen over the last couple months.
You know who else is kind of moving counter to wisdom is Apple. Everything's kind of selling off, but Apple's kind of holding above VWAP. The price action looks ugly to me, but on Apple, we're sort of in a kind of like a liquidity zone from the aftermarket and pre-market session from the 3rd and 4th of June.
Yeah, we're definitely at an area of possible resistance, right? You look left from where we are right now, and this was resistance, as was this, right? Wednesday night into Thursday, 4 or 5 a.m. Right? That was resistance on very low volume. Right, that's why I like having these. I like having the extended time frame on my chart, and I like having it in different colors because it's easy to see that this was on lower volume. Right, I don't usually have volume on my chart, but I have it here, and you can tell. I mean, there's zero volume over here. Not zero, but you know what I mean. Close to zero. As far as cams are concerned, I haven't looked at Apple in a long time. Yeah, it's strong, right? In a higher range. Did it open above R4? It did not. Sorry. Yeah, it did. No, it opened below R4, but spiked up above R4 and then is showing support at R4. So that being said, that could be along towards R6, but look at that line. Right? You have to look left to look at higher time frame resistance. So you're getting into a long over here. Can you get to 3 or 4 or whatever your target is? Some people trade 1-to-1. Yeah, this almost looks like algo trading. It's just right?
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah,
for sure. Looks like we're trying to get a green print on the SPY, and I'm looking at SOXL, which is an ETF of the semi. I like to look at INTC, NVTS, AMD. Just kind of checking things out, and I like these kind of days where we get a sell off, and then maybe we'll get a reversal, 30, 45, 60 minutes later.
Yeah.
Just kind of sit around and watch.
And it's the reversal, especially if you go on a higher time frame, right? We were going up, right? For the longest time, we were moving up. Now, right, we're at a level that could be, let's bring it down, right, to where this was resistance, and then that general area was support and support and support. Will it be again? Now, if it breaks below here and then retests and cannot get above here, then this becomes resistance. I'll just write later, right? It could be, and I'll put a question mark. Oh, a question mark stand. Keyboard stayed French today. If it proves itself, then we could be going lower. Right? We could be starting to, especially if this higher time frame area of support is broken, we could be retracing. Right? We had trouble finding buyers up here. Right? 1 day, 2 days, maybe we need to go find the large pools of money in this area, or possibly in this area. Yeah, on the 30-minute, this is that's a big red candle. I'm not buying yet.
So now for my trading style, I want to see that for reversal that the trend is ended and another trend begins. So yeah, it's just good to kind of just watch and see the broader markets and to try to go with the flow. So you got the wind at your back. And yeah, Oliver, yeah. It's a good time to just sit on my hands and just observe and just be patient and wait.
Yeah.
You know, those numbers that were released, non-farm payroll jobs,
Yeah.
they came in like more or better than expected. Is that right?
Yeah.
So maybe what's good news is bad news.
Well, you know what? Who knows what is already priced in? It's like, you know, having good earnings and the stock just dropping. It's because they were already taken into consideration, right? Those numbers are already known by the whales, and they might have been expecting even better than that. Or they're pushing price down because they know they're good numbers and they're just waiting to get in at better prices.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right? And that's the thing. That's with what we do. What I do is I want to see who's in control and I want to get a good entry. So over here, I can tell that the bears are in control, but I have no entry. Right? I have no way of getting in here yet. And it being Friday, and you know, for whatever reason, I'm okay with just waiting even after 11. Once I walk away from here at 10:30, I'm going to set some alerts, and then I've got computer work to do, and it's a nice day. So you go outside, you get your alerts on your phone. That's the beauty of TradingView. When I know I'm going to be away from the computer, I put my alerts a little bit further away, right? Just for sharing purposes. If this was the fib right now, usually if I'm at the computer, I'd put an alert right above the 50. Sorry, right below the 50 at this point, right before it gets into the area that I'm really curious about. But if I know I'll be away from the computer, then I bring it down a little bit, right? Give me time to get to the computer or get to your iPad or phone or whatever. And,
Yeah.
you know, yeah, just sharing the way that I do it. If you guys do you have other habits or strategies, please don't hesitate to share. This should be a comfortable place to share. SQQQ up 6.4%. So I'll bring it up because I talked about it a couple weeks ago. But for those of you who can't short stocks, well, you can buy SQQQ. Right? It's the inverse. So when TQQQ, or when the Qs go down, this is going up, right? And it's leveraged. So it's cheap, very good trading tool.
Yeah, I love the leverage products, as you all have heard over time. Same with Tesla. You can trade TSLL, or I'm looking at TSLQ, which is the 3x. I think it's 3 or 2x inverse of Tesla.
Yeah. Yeah.
And AMD has their inverse ETFs. Apple does too. Google.
AMDQ? No.
AMDL and AM. I think AMDU, but that's like priced at like $3. I can't trade that. So I think it's a 2x for AMD, but AMDL, I look at that one, and so yeah, it's a nice alternative if you don't want to directly short a stock.
Yeah.
And if you're comfortable using that leverage 2 or 3x, it could definitely magnify your output, your gains. But you have to be careful too, right? Because it goes both ways.
Absolutely. And as long as you enter with a hard stop, I mean, it's such a simple rule, but there's so many people that, even professional traders, that say, oh no, they won't put it on. They'll, you know, but what happened? I'd rather have a stop and then it's at the market. Something happens to my setup over here. You know what? I'm protected.
I totally agree. And then your emotions don't get in place. For years, I used to trade with no hard stops. I had mental stops, but I feel so much better now. I identify my pattern. I get in. I place a market order. That's how I do it. I just enter with a market order, and as soon as I'm done with that step 2, boom, I put in my stop.
Yeah,
And
no,
then,
good
yeah.
advice.
And if it starts to go in my favor, when the price action gets me to about 2R, then I like to bring my stop to just a little bit above break even for me. Because once it gets to 2R, I don't want to lose anything. And so I want to make sure it's a little bit above break even, because if it comes back, limit orders aren't exact precise points, right? So there'd be some slippage. So that's why I always want it a little bit above. So that way I can just, it's kind of a stress-free trade, and that's a great feeling.
Yeah. Yeah, you cover the commissions, and you bring yourself close to break even and protect yourself from slippage, like you said. Somebody was saying in the chat they smell fear, or market makers need weekend cash to gas up their yachts. So, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, you're right, Oliver.
What's this? BTC down 5%. 60,000. Wow.
Money is leaving Bitcoin right now.
I think everybody's cashing out to be able to buy SpaceX next week.
Yeah. I put in a little bit for the IPO. We'll see if it goes, but not much. So
yeah, I'm going to be looking at it. I mean, there's going to be an absolute frenzy for that stock, and it possibly being valuated at $2 trillion on launch is insane. Yeah, I was reading up on it yesterday, and they're not that profitable yet, right? So you're buying into the possibility of them being profitable in the future.
Yeah, it's
and
really
I like buying into companies like that, but not when they're 100 times earnings. It's the early investors are going to be getting out next Friday morning, right? They're going to be getting their 10x on their investments, and retail is going to be buying into it like crazy. So I'll be same thing as CRBS that we were looking at. Cerebrus. What was the ticker again? Anybody remember? Cerebrus, CBRS. There we go. All right, so this IPO'd. It was supposed to IPO at 185, but it opened at 351. And look at what it did since the IPO. I have an alert here at 200, longer, higher time frame alert, to see if it comes back into this area and starts showing buying. Then this might be an investment opportunity. And when I say that, it's much higher time frame, like 20 years. So yeah, SpaceX, what will it be again?
SPCX. It'll be interesting to watch for potential day trading opportunities.
There's potential for sure, but right at the beginning, it's going to be difficult to find shares to short. Right, that's the thing with trying to get into CBRS, get into something that is just IPO'd, is would have been great to short here, but nobody has shares to borrow. It's impossible to short something like this at this point. Maybe even at this point, 4 or 5 days in, right? It's difficult because your broker needs to have shares to lend. couple weeks down the road, it's starting to chop around, maybe above 200. But this might be interesting. SpaceX for sure. I'll be watching next week. So just for the sheer entertainment. Some people like watching baseball. I like watching stocks and candlesticks, and the stories, and it's an incredible story what's happening with SpaceX. I mean, don't forget that Twitter or X is part of that. XAI is part of it. And XAI, they're planning on that being the most profitable part of SpaceX.
Yeah.
Then there's a possibility of Tesla being brought into SpaceX. Just rumors right now, but be interesting.
Yeah. It'd be fun to watch at least the first few days in the week just to see how price movement is, and I'm sure it'll be very chaotic. It'll move like a low float.
Oh yeah.
So a good time to kind of observe it for a number of days or a week and just kind of see how it moves. Yeah. But yeah, that amount that I'm putting in for the IPO is very small for me, and so I'm comfortable losing all of it. But I ain't gonna lose all of it. It's not gonna go to zero. But I think the smart move for long-term investment is to wait about 6 months, 180 days, because that's when the institutions who got in early, they're going to want to take profit after 6 months. So usually I think there'll be that dip in about 6 months time, and that's for long term. That's kind of a good time window to kind of be looking at an IPO stock for potential long-term investment.
Yeah. No, I love the idea of SpaceX long term. Anything that Elon Musk's is part of, I put my faith in it. But they don't talk about it. What if something happens to them? Right? Hopefully they'll be addressing, who will be at the head of this company, and who's, hopefully nothing happens. Don't wish ill on anybody, but these companies are very, very dependent on their founders and CEOs. Yeah. So, but look at Apple, right? When Jobs died in 2011, Tim Cook took over, brought it into the massive giant that it is today, with very little innovation or new products, I should say. There we go. Oil dipped and it's starting to buy. Yeah, right at this level here. Right, we see that this was, once it made it past here, you look at where did the buyers step in. Well, this was the most recent, if you look left, most recent area. If you were short, that would be a target. MGC seems to have slowed down the decline. I'm not planning on going long on anything right now. Wow, MES, my goodness. Wish I had a strategy to short this at the open. Especially on days like this. So to go long over here, if it chopped around and came down and showed real strength at this higher time frame level here, could be a double bottom. But from the open price, it's definitely coming into an area coming into the 50%. But with this fib or this range and the decline being so fast, that's on a 1 minute. Let me go to a 5. Right, these were massive 5-minute candles. It makes the golden zone, larger, right? So your stop loss is larger. So if we were to go short over here, stop would have to be above the 61.8. And still get to 3 before getting back to higher time frame support over here.
Wow, it's just red everywhere.
Yeah. Limit sell. Go to this and this. So just for example purposes, why the heck is it all the way up there? Like that. So this is saying possibly around 3 contracts for $100 risk. But again, these candles are a bit too big for my liking. Is MNQ doing similar? Yeah, I really like where the 50 is. Where the 50 is on where I am right now. However, I would prefer to have it there. Still close to S6. Still close here. Limit order. Sell at 100. Stop would be above the 61.8. Entry would be very close there. That's 1 contract to be at $100 risk. The heck? So yeah, that's what I'm looking at here is and it's 10:15. I might cut out a little bit early today. The whole family's home there's no school today. And they're heading out shortly, so I think I'm going to go see them, but I'm going to hang out for a few more minutes. Just wanted to say what it is I'm looking at right now. The buyers, we are selling. So, and I don't see, I guess it is, never mind, I'll take that back. I was going to say I don't really see where we are reversing, but that's not true. I absolutely see it right over here. Right, that is the last point of support. So where price is now. That could be a reversal area, but I still believe that the sellers are in control. So what I am looking at is the possibility. I want to see what it does at this level. This is MNQ, similar on MES. Right, and MES here. For this one, I'll just put in that is a paper trade. If I had a limit order, right, that's where it would be. Right, so if it gets filled, it gets filled. Just to share how I would possibly get into a position over here. Limit order to sell as soon as it touches the 50. Right, it could absolutely go out and take out the stop, and then aim for 3R. So entry would be right over here. Stop. One of the things I don't like about Trading View. There you go. So stop is right above the 61.8, and 3R would be right around here. There you go. It got filled on the paper trading account. And there you go. Profit would be at 3R right over here. Took long on MNQ. Good luck with that.
I like what I'm seeing so far in the markets. Wonder if we found a bottom. And it's very interesting. If you look at the SPY, if you look at the SOXL, which is the ETF of the semis, and then you compare that with, say, INTC, AMD, MVTS, they're all having very similar moves. So I like seeing that correlation. It's not exact, but they're pretty close. So.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, Evo. Yeah, we'll see. For now, I just sit and wait. I want to see what happens at these levels. Right, this is where we pulled back most recently. Let's go back over here. Right, on MNQ. Right, we came down, tried to make a new high. We are just approaching that area now, so I don't trust it until we take out a recent high. Higher time frame support did not turn out to be support. There was zero chopping around in here on the 5-minute. Therefore, now is it resistance? And MES. Yeah, interesting area. Not in a hurry to do anything. Okay, it is 10:20. I'm going to walk away here. We'll see if this if I'll leave the drawing here for next week. This was just a paper trade, so just to show where you guys can see if it comes out above 75.34, then it would have stopped me out. If it goes back to the low day, then it would have been a winner before stopping me out. Oops, I didn't confirm from earlier. And that being said, I'm going to head out. Have a great weekend, everyone. I'll don't know if anybody is going to be hanging out in the room later on this afternoon. I might be around there if anybody's playing poker. And yeah, have a great weekend. We'll see you guys on Monday.
Thanks, Jill.
All right. Cheers.
Enjoy your new deck.
Yeah. Thanks. I'll share a picture on Monday.
Awesome.
Okay. Bye-bye.